Hey guys, Daren Goldin from Goldin Solar. Welcome to another episode of The Green Stuff. Thanks for joining us. For today's episode, we've collaborated with the U.S. Green Building Council, chapter of Miami. We're going to do an event with them where we're showcasing all sorts of things related to solar. I'll be on the panel talking about solar from the perspective of a contractor. We've also got panelists speaking from the perspective of a finance company and from the city officials. U.S. Green Building Council is a federal organization with local chapters, and what they do is promote green building. They also have a green building rating system to help buildings get rated and certified as green buildings. So this is going to be a lot of fun, a lot of community outreach, getting in touch with the general public or other industry practitioners and basically promoting everything green building related. So today they decided to focus on solar. We're working together to produce this event. It's going to be a lot of fun. So thanks for joining us and enjoy. Hey, Chichi.
Yes, how's it going, Daren?
Awesome. So we're really excited about this. Goldin Solar working with U.S. Green Building Council. We got Y Green. We got the city of Miami Beach. City of Miami Beach talking about solar from the perspective of a city.
Mm-hmm.
So
MEP Consulting here talking about the design perspective as well.
Really cool. So you want to tell us a little bit about USGBC, the kind of events that the USGBC produces, and basically how this fits in with the city and everything.
Sure. So USGBC is the U.S. Green Building Council. If you've ever heard of LEED certification for buildings, we founded LEED. And locally, we try to do educational events every month to educate the public about different aspects of sustainability. So from seawalls to and sea level rise, to solar panels, to green building tours, transportation, et cetera, et cetera.
I have a soft spot in my heart for the USGBC because USGBC is how I got into green building. So back when I was in college, just studying structural engineering at University of South Florida, that's where I learned about U.S. Green Building. That's where I learned about LEED certification for building. And USGBC has always kind of been that cornerstone, that keystone between industry practitioners, college students, the general public that just wants to learn about green building. So it's stuff like events that gets the general public, out to meet industry professionals and activists that gets everybody involved in green building on everybody's mind. So
Absolutely.
Thanks for producing this event, and thanks for having us involved in it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So
You guys have always been a great partner, so we're happy to have you.
sounds good. Let's see how it goes.
Awesome.
Daren Goldin from Goldin Solar. Thank you so much for joining us today. We've been hearing about solar for many years. It's still relatively new, right? It's still not that commonplace. So because of the industry that we chose, we find ourselves not only doing engineering, permitting, construction, material procurement, deliveries, we also find ourselves doing a lot of just education. So a lot of times we'll sit down with a homeowner, we'll look at their power bills, we'll calculate their kilowatt hours consumption, we'll look at their roof area, and we'll evaluate how many solar panels they can fit on their roof, and if they can basically achieve net zero. So in our industry, net zero is sort of the holy grail. Net zero means that on an average month, a home can produce as much energy as it consumes on an average month. So equal consumption to production. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're producing it when you need it, right? At nighttime, you're not producing any energy. Maybe during the day, you're producing a whole lot of energy and there's nobody home. How is that solved? With a mechanism called net metering. So basically everywhere in Florida, all the major utilities support net metering. When somebody gets solar, they get their power meter replaced with a bidirectional net meter. So that's a meter that measures the flow of current, whether it's from the grid to the house or from the house back to the grid. And because of that, most of our customers don't have to worry about batteries. Most of our customers aren't worried about storage. Storage is simply to back up the power to have in the event of a power outage. So the most common system we produce is what's called a grid-tied system that basically consists of solar panels, structural supports, the racking of the system, and an inverter, a device that changes the DC to the AC. Because of the nature of our industry, a solar system does have kind of a hefty price tag. It does have, so a lot of people have a sticker shock. Financing is very, very, very important. I'm an engineer, but I find myself becoming almost to some extent an economist, because a lot of times when we sit down with our customers to present solar and to see if this is something that would work for them, we have to present the economics. We have to make the economic case. From our perspective, the perspective of a contractor, we've gone to great lengths to constantly drive down the cost of solar. It has to pencil out. We have to be able to demonstrate to our customers that solar will break even in approximately 7 years. That's kind of what we are able to show. And the way that it's done is in terms of energy savings. So if a customer pays for solar up front, they'll break even 7 years. Alternatively, a homeowner can finance a solar system, meaning they can get a loan for a solar system, and we can structure it in such a way that the only money that they're paying back towards the financing is the money that they're saving on their power bill. So already it's zero money down for the homeowner if they finance, and it's almost like a break even, except that the monthly payments that they're making, instead of going towards their power bills that they're never going to see the return from, it goes towards the equity, towards the eventual ownership of the solar system. So a couple quick slides for you guys. Here's some commercial systems we've installed. This is the Miami Children's Museum. Really cool, very complicated system. If any of you guys have ever seen this building, what we're doing here is we're turning wave shape structure, the two parallel walls that are connected with this beam, into right triangles. So we got custom fabricated clamps that sort of straddled the beam, and then we kind of connected beam to beam and mounted the solar panels there. So complicated project, but very cool. It's part of the exhibit in the museum. This is Coconut Grove Residence Inn. So a very large system. The hotel cared about their sustainability. The hotel wanted to basically lower their energy costs. In addition to doing solar, they have a white roof, highly reflective, very deep installation, and they changed all their lights to LEDs. This is the future, right? So they just had that sort of foresight. This is our work. You know, we believe in doing very clean work. Of course, the system would still work if the wires were a mess, but we want the system to work and be beautiful. So we have all the wires, you know, tied very neatly, very precisely. We take a lot of pride in our workmanship. Another picture of it. This is a carport for Brevard County disposal facility. So here's a quick little video of it, showing you guys the size of it. So we're very comfortable with a 5 kilowatt residential system. We're very comfortable with a 500 kilowatt commercial system. So Turkey Lake, this is the rest stop right outside of Disney World. So when you guys are going to Disney World, if you have to stop and go to the bathroom and enjoy lunch, you know, enjoy the lights brought to you by Goldin Solar. And we really can make power bills $9. So this power bill is a net zero bill, meaning no energy was actually purchased from FPL. But I paid $9 because I had a service with them. So that's basically what it cost me to have the net meter. Financing is a major part of doing solar. The first financing program we've ever used was Y-Green, which was a major part of our business growing. It's allowed homeowners that don't happen to have a lot of cash laying around go solar. So Y-Green has been a major player in the solar industry and helping this movement grow, not only solar, but other green improvements. So I'll turn it over to Carlos from Y-Green.
Thank you, Daren.
And then try to
just stay busy. It started from what you just said, just enough that we didn't have to let anybody down in the moment. Like,
all I cared about is that my employees can put food on our table.
you can come to work every day and have
And then they had a job. They always had a job.
That's what drove it.
But what happened was, we took so many jobs, so many projects to keep our guys busy, that we realized
more
how
guys.
upset the customers were if they had to wait a long time.
But it's just been such a journey. And when you're scaling a company in an industry that's basically completely novel, that's bound by the regulation of finance companies, building departments, utilities, in a hurricane-prone area where energy is cheap. So we have so much working against us, but where there's a will, there's a way. So we just found all the puzzle pieces. We found finance partners, went to environmental organizations, and forged our contacts and our relationships, and picked our favorite materials and did amazing work. Right? It was all about doing amazing work. We got relationships with politicians. I mean, early on we went in there and we said, if we can deliver something amazing at a low price and still profit and still do okay, then we're set. Then we'll be okay. I didn't take any sales courses. I took engineering economics. That's about as close as I came to business. A couple management courses because my master's was in construction management, but it was so funny. I mean, at one point, I remember just sort of catching. I was like, "When did I become a sales guy?" You know, but I'd go to sales meetings, and I would be painfully honest. You know, just very blunt about things, like when hey, I'm gonna have power when the grid goes down, right? Nope, no, you'll not. You know, we'll go through all these very specifics, whether it was favorable to sell or not. It didn't matter. I had to be very transparent and very comprehensive. So I figured if this person doesn't want to buy a solar system, at least they'll know that I know what I'm talking about. Yeah. You know, or if I don't get to sell a solar system today, I got to meet a stranger and talk to them about something I love to do. So, you know, I think at one point I just had this idea that if I worked as hard for myself as I do for other people, you know, everything should be good. And actually, it's a lot to do with the motivation and what you're doing in the broader picture and why you're doing it. So, yeah, so at the beginning, the motivation was all about having a company and actually making it survive. And that was the idea. If I could only get one contract per month, then I'll have that continuity, even if it's me and one crew. I just want to be able to just not like create a company and just flop. So once it was like, okay, we're established, then it was like, okay, how big can we get? And here's sort of a trick that business plays on you. When you're small, you have almost no overhead. I worked out of my living room. I did the sales. I did all these different things. So I had very, very, very little overhead. So seemingly it was like, you know, very profitable when you're that small. And so we're like, all right, just sell. Subcontract for everybody in the world. And so, yeah, so like, you know, like we said, we almost had this like moment where it was like, I can't believe how fast we grew. I was part of a business networking group called BNI, Business Networking International, and I'd go every week. And it was all about networking. It was all about like telling all these people that I do solar and helping them with their business, and they help me with my business. All about networking. And at one point in time, I just looked back and I was like, we have way more contracts right now than we can wrap our head around. I don't know why I'm spending my time in BNI. I'm even spending my time figuring out how to build these systems. So I got out of there. Yeah, I mean, the motivation evolved from having a business to, you know, being able to take care of your employees, to sort of thinking about the brand and the idea of a brand's legacy and trying to craft the brand, finding, you know, how you're distinguished from everybody else that does what you do. And of course, you know, in business, there's always an ego experience. It's like, oh, I gotta be better than my competitors. I gotta be bigger than my competitors. You know, but we care deeply for our customers. We care deeply for our reputation. Of course, those two things are connected. And yeah, I mean, it's definitely like a positive feedback loop, right? Because your customers sing you praise, and you're like, oh, okay, well, what we're doing is good. We need to keep doing it. We need to do more of it. And then you say, you know, we need to get the message out there. So once we do that, I mean, we give ourselves the proof of concept, right? You go like, okay, I was right. This is working. We are good. We do know something about, you know, construction, and maybe we have a little bit of a competitive advantage by being two engineers with 3 engineering degrees in the construction industry. And probably most other people in the construction industry work their way up the ranks, or they grew up in a construction family. So, you know, we start to think about what other things we can do. So after we had the solar license, we got the electrical license and roofing license, and, you know, our next move is to get a general contracting license. So that's really the motivation, is just, to me right now, is seeing where is the limit, you know? And of course, all of that with, you know, the prudence of having already gone through the growing pains of biting off more than we can chew. So we basically want to grow as much as we can, as smartly as we can, you know, without compromising quality and, you know, the things that make our brand what it is.
Find a growth rate that you can sustain.
Yeah.
Well, you said something earlier about moving purposefully.
Yeah.
And I think it comes down to, we want to affect as much change as possible. In order to do so, we always use the phrase, we need a bigger war chest.
Yeah.
Which the proceeds come from doing profitable
But
and
that's
efficient.
proceeds, that's infrastructure, right?
You know,
Your war
so-
chest is like...
No. So, but what I mean is, I think this year's mode where it's changed. We've always wanted to affect change. I think what's changing is that we're being more tactical in which projects we're taking to make sure that if we can whatever we can build at a given time, if we can build 10 a week, that we're building the best 10 a week, so that we can advance our agenda as fast as possible and build more. And but again, it's like it's not about. I think it's about if the purpose of building the systems is to affect change, to help change or save our environment, and to propagate the advance of this technology, be one of the leaders. And I think part of it is to be a leader in the field, to blaze the trail on the.
Yeah, there was a moment where we had limited bandwidth, and we had projects, with a certain amount of profitability. And then we had projects that were more profitable, and we just couldn't get to the more profitable ones because we're all, everywhere. You have to build everything you contract. So
we're too broad. We took too much.
We took too much.
We took too broad of a scope.
Yeah.
Good and bad.
Yeah.
But now we're just focusing on being more selective.
We're honing it in.
Well, because before we wanted to make sure everyone was busy.
One thing that we went through is we wanted to grow really fast, and so we agreed to do work as a subcontractor for other companies. And so, number one, those were jobs that weren't very profitable. Number two, when we didn't control the sale, the direct interface between the sales agent and the homeowner, anything could have gone down there, right? So all the problems that we talked about earlier, that's the kind of stuff that went down when we did work as a subcontractor, because it was a different company that did the sale, and we had no control over what was presented. So number one was less profitable for us. Number two, it was a sick bed to walk into. And number three, we felt like we were legitimizing them because we really do incredible work. So imagine you install a perfect 5 kilowatt system. Everything's immaculate. And the homeowner is like furious because they're like, why isn't this saving, $250 on my power bill? And we take a step back, we're like, whoa, what do you mean $250 on your power bill? 5 kilowatt system, not gonna do that. We were contracted to a 5 kilowatt system. Everything it's doing is perfect. So we realized how sensitive solar was to the expectation that was set by the sales agent. Because if you buy a roof, then there's not that much room for interpretation. My house isn't leaking and there's clearly new shingles on my house. Okay, I guess I got what I paid for. If you buy an air conditioner, all right, it's cold in here. I guess there's a new metal box over there, so I guess I have a new air conditioner. If you have a solar system, there really is potentially a big gap between expectations and reality. So we were very happy to have crossed out doing work as a subcontractor, because now we have control over everything, from the lead production, from that very first point of contact, to the entire sales experience, to the entire project management experience, the delivery of the project, the construction process, close out, startup testing, the remainder of the relationship with the homeowner, referrals.
So I want to ask you, and